Hey, I'm April.
I'm Bayleigh, and this is the Nestled Podcast.
Here we chat about how to help design meet purpose. Our hope is that you will find inspiration to live more intentionally.
So join us each week as we let you peek in our nest.
And as always, the door will be open. Hey everyone, welcome to the Nestled Podcast. I'm April.
And I'm Bayleigh, and we're so glad that you're here. We hope that you are enjoying your Christmas vacation. If you have kids who are already out of school, ours get out in about 2 hours, so the craziness is coming.
It is about to take over.
Yeah, but we're mostly excited.
Yeah, we're very excited about this time with our family, and we hope that you guys are making the most of every opportunity you have as well.
In the theme of Christmas and gift giving, the best gift you could give for us this Christmas season is going to iTunes and leaving us a review.
It really means a lot to us, and it also helps people to find our podcast, and we would really appreciate it. So if you'll leave us a review on iTunes, and also be on the lookout because we will have a Christmas episode coming out, and we've got some special little guests, 8 of them to be exact, that live in our houses.
Yes, our kids are so excited to finally get an episode. And so please listen because they're going to ask if anybody listened.
Yes.
They're going to want to know. And then we also, on that episode, will be sharing Christmas memories that guest that we interviewed in the fall shared with us.
And so, if you don't follow us on Instagram, hop over there because we're sharing some of our Christmas memories leading up to Christmas. And we would love to hear from you guys. And what are some of your favorite Christmas memories? Some things, maybe traditions that you have or things that your family does this time of year.
Yeah, if you have something really special that you want us to share, if you shoot us a DM on Instagram, then we can read those out next week on the episode as well. And then one last thing before we hop into this week's conversation. We are now influencers with Amazon, which is a really exciting step for us. And we're not looking to make a huge payday off of this, but we are hoping that we can start to make enough just to cover the cost of keeping the podcast on iTunes and all your other apps that you're listening on. And so all you have to do is shop through our link, which we're going to post in the show notes for you guys. You can even do the shopping on your app and then log into Safari and just click on the link and then order
before
the products.
checkout. If you go through our link and sign in to your Amazon account, it will give us credit and we get a little bit of a kickback from that. And like we said, we just want to cover the cost of this podcast because we want to keep it going.
That's right.
So that would really help us. We also will make a little Instagram story about how to do that if you're not really sure the right steps to check out.
Yes. Also, if you hear something grunting and snorting and things, that's just Miller taking a bottle. But it's either that or listen to her scream and cry and chat. So that's what we're going with this week. If you haven't listened to last week's episode with our guest, Rach Kincaid, we hope that you'll go and listen to that. She was the creator of the hashtag Get After Grateful, and so we chat a lot about that and her life as a hospice nurse. And we left that conversation really encouraged. What you're going to hear this week is us talk about what we originally had planned to talk to her about, which is inviting people into your home before you feel like it's ready for people to see it. And then after that, we move almost directly into Love It or Leave It. So it's nice, short, bite size, which is what we wanted for these Christmas episodes because we know everybody is busy. But we hope it'll be a bright spot in your day and will just help you feel a little more encouraged.
And we hope that you were encouraged by Rachel and Get After Grateful, and that this week you'll be encouraged to open your home. If there are people around you who are lonely this Christmas or maybe hurting and broken, that you will invite them in. One of the things that we're constantly talking about is we started a business in design, and we realized really quickly that people were not opening their homes a lot of times because of insecurity, that they didn't think it was good enough, but then we found ourselves in this weird tension of the rat race of like people feeling like they had to measure up and spend a lot of money. And that just is, we're like super budget, like tight. We've always functioned with little money and trying to make the most of it in our homes. And so we saw an Instagram post. We were actually riding around at the end of a budget, taking photos of a college campus for the student building. And And so we saw this post by Rach. I'll call you Rach since we're friends now. But talking about her home and how it probably wouldn't be ready, quote unquote, for 10 years, or however long. But that our tendency is to be like, well, it's not ready, I can't open my home, but how it's so important to gather, and the light that breaks through in having people in your home and in the gathering. And we just were like, she is our girl. We have got to talk to her. And so you wrote a whole blog post on that. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I would say I just started hosting people in my home in the last 3 years. And I did it because I had tried life the other way and my world kind of crashed and fell apart. So I had handpicked who I would let into my life. I had selected how to do community at church. It was not authentic. It was not the real kind of vulnerable. And then when we would have a crisis, I'd realize there was nobody to lean into. So I had to repent of that. It was sinful. And I can say, like, straightforward, if you're not a follower of Jesus, I don't care what you do with your life. I hope that you'll come to my side, because I think my side is better. But if you are a follower of Jesus, like, we are commanded to share our lives with people. And the only examples we have of that in Scripture are people sharing their lives in their homes, not in their churches. So when we decided just to go for it, we started this thing called Pasta with People, where we had a group of people, random people from church. We invited over every Thursday, made a big pot of spaghetti. Anywhere from 8 to 20 people would show up. And it was just so fun and so laid back. And we realized we didn't have to have everything we wanted to host. So it was on paper plates with a giant trash bag. You put your own trash away. Basically, they cleaned up on their way out. It was beautiful. But the reason I posted that post, which really led me to kind of talk about it more, was because my house looks so gorgeous on Instagram. We painted everything white. The natural light is beautiful. My house was built in 1890. And it is just historic and gorgeous, and we bought it for dirt cheap, and we cannot afford to renovate it, and will not be able to afford to renovate it until all of our children are out of the home, which is a deep, deep point of contention for me and my heart and my soul, and asking God to give me peace about that, because my kids are growing up on plywood floors. There are holes in our floor where you can see the dirt of the crawl space beneath it. We have currently in our home mice, roaches, and fleas that we are currently getting treated, and we have to budget just to pay for exterminators to come out. So when people got a little bit saucy with me and my Instagram comments about it, like, if that's how your house looks, then mine will never be ready. And I'm like, it's as simple as buying a $20 gallon of paint, painting everything white, and keeping your house tidy. Like, throw all of your CRAP in a closet for 4 hours and have people over. Like, that is possible. You don't have to have money to do that, you know? But in reality, my house is not ready for people. I do not have a kitchen that I don't have outlets. There's no outlets in half of the rooms. There are no closets. I don't have a kitchen that works with, I don't have a microwave, garbage disposal, or dishwasher. I don't have the ability to host large cookouts or potlucks. But what I can do is throw a bunch of cookies on a plate and have people come over after they eat dinner. We can all sit on my couch and light a fire because I have a fireplace. So it's that get after grateful mentality of looking for things that do make my house warm and inviting. Oh, the other hilarious thing is we don't have a driveway. So it's just grass and some gravel that we lay down to keep it from flooding, but we can't have people over when it rains because our yard floods and then they physically cannot get into our home.
Yeah.
There's like standing water or mud, or their cars might get stuck in a driveway area. And so I'm like, do you have 4-wheel drive? Like, where can you park? It's just, so it's really funny for the whole, it looks different on Instagram than it is in real life. But it works. And the reason that we open our home is not just because God commands it or because we believe our life is better because of it. But if you had to go at it from a selfish perspective, my best friend Jess asked me this one time, and I will never forget it. But she was like, who in your town will come over to your house and throw the couch in front of the door when you're trying to leave your husband? Like, who will be that person that says, like, we're not leaving this room until we fix this?
Yes.
And if you are just sitting shoulder to shoulder with somebody on Sunday morning worshiping with them, or you complain about your spouse or have a really healthy funny relationship with somebody at work, like those are not the people that are going to come
right.
over and pray over you.
That's right.
Or when you're having like chaos with your children, like they're not going to be the ones that come over and like offer to pray over their beds and say like, what can we do? How can we pay for a counselor? Like, can I come sit with you while you meet with their teachers? Like, they're not doing that unless they're in your home on a regular basis or you're in theirs and you're seeing their junk. And so that's the first thing. If you're going to be selfish, like you got to have people to do warfare with, but also, I don't know. It's just like, it's teaching your children. For me, we're like dismantling and redoing what society taught me, which was tidy, fake vulnerability is community. And so even growing up in the church, it was like we had dinner at the church and we had Sunday school at the church. And then I was like, well, my parents got in a fight, or my parents are thinking about moving and I don't know how to process this with a friend. Like, who do I talk to about that? And the answer was there was no one. Not because it was my parents' fault, but because we had designed the mega church in that day and age, the late 80s coming into the 90s, that we were going to have everything happen on campus, and it became very insider focused.
It was that way for a long time.
A long time, and we're just now starting to kind of come out of that. And even we had this discussion with some folks at different churches recently in our town, because I live in a very large suburban metropolis with mega churches. So like the average mega church is 3,000 to 7,000 people on a Sunday morning, and you're wondering why so many millennials feel disconnected and why they don't understand what to do when the bottom drops out, and why they're going hardcore atheist agnostic with their belief system. And most of them were raised in the mega church. And so it was like it served well to get them to the family of God. But once they were in, it was like, what the heck do I do now? What does family look like? And so I think showing my kids like there is a new way, a better way, and it's the old way. It's a scriptural way of sharing life with people. And that is in our home, where nothing belongs to us, including our secrets or privacy or anything like that. And it just, I really do think, because I've tried it both ways, I think it's better in the long run.
I agree.
Yeah. And I've also, like, an encouragement to people, whenever you named out all those, like, imperfections, I found that when you bring people in, they don't notice it, but you also don't notice it as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've also found that
people in
that I stopped noticing the imperfections in other people and in their homes the more that I was okay with yours, and the more I was okay with my own. Now, whenever I was at the place that I felt like every drawer and closet had to be clean before I could invite someone over, then I would go into someone else's house all judgy and would be like, your baseboards are not clean. But now, like, I literally went to somebody's house the other day and I walked out and thought, I didn't even pay attention to anything. Any part of like the house itself. Now, like, I want to be able to appreciate when someone's worked hard, but as far as it goes, like, I didn't notice their artwork. I didn't notice their baseboards. No. I didn't even pay attention if their toilet was clean. I didn't care because I've gotten to a point to where I'm okay with it, and it's fine if you see my junk. So like, I don't even notice other people's. It's this weird thing that happens that, like, so often it's coming from fear, but there's a pride in there, and there's all kinds of other stuff that we have in our own hearts that we're just putting on other people. And if that's their issue, then I'm like, well, I mean, I hate it for you that you have to live bound up by that, but like, I'm sorry that my baseboards aren't clean.
Some hard self-work for type 1.
Yeah, that is true. I've come a long way.
That's good. That's so good. And I think too, like, there's just this weird tension where we talk about we want to be vulnerable, we want to be able to share our mess with people. That's true. But I'm hearing a lot of specifically women, like women's based ministry that's going in that direction. And I'm like, but we have to have an answer for that too. Like, you show me your mess, I give you hope.
Yes.
Or like, you bring me your junk, and we together, we compare it in a healthy way, and then say like, what can we take away from this conversation that will edify our husbands or overhaul our schedule to give us more time with our families. Like, don't complain to me about X, Y, or Z until we're ready to come up with a solution that is gospel centered. So what's interesting is I do feel the need to keep my house tidy, but it's not clean ever, but it's tidy because I'm removing that clutter so that I have more margin and space for the clutter of emotional, like, relationships and hashing those out. So it's so strange how it all just connects. So it's silly for me to say I have a vision statement about my wardrobe, but I know exactly what I'm going to wear every day because I only have like 15 or 20 options.
Mhm.
And I do that so that I don't speak death over my body, so that I don't waste time complaining about what I don't have, so that I'm able to use that emotional, mental, and time margin to move into spaces of like making disciples of all nations. Like it's so simple, but it's also so big to me. Everything feels very important. So like I have white couches, white walls, but they're also like I scrub them and I take the covers off and I bleach them every couple of months. And then I'm like, look at how amazing my house is, even though I have plywood floors. Like it's so crazy, but I'm able to do that because I want space to be able to host people and not have an excuse for that. So I don't know. It's so weird. I'm saying it's like both and. Like I put a little bit of effort in, but I don't allow myself to get carried away.
Right.
I think we've been on very similar journeys, Rachel.
Yeah.
we do the limited wardrobe too. And
That's
I also
awesome.
bleach my white couches.
Yes. And I have my kids on a capsule wardrobe too. Which
Yeah,
is
we do
hilarious.
too.
Yeah, the other day, one of my daughters, she was like, I knew it was coming, but one of my 7-year-old twins, she was like, can I ask you a question? I don't want to hurt your feelings. And when she said that, I knew like the old eggshells thing was coming out where like, I don't want her to ever feel like she can't ask me something. But maybe she really is just trying to be polite and conscientious. So I was like, yes, baby. And I get down on my knees and like, look at me in the eye. And I'm not naturally not affectionate. I'm naturally not empathetic, which is really weird that I'm a nurse, but maybe I just spend it all out there and I don't have a lot coming home. So one of my girlfriends jokes around with me. Her name is Nicole, and she is overly affectionate with her kids, and her husband is always like, whoa, chill out with the kissing and the cuddling. And like, it takes like an hour and a half to put them to bed at night. And I'm like, good night. Like,
good night, go to bed.
Yeah. And so I told her one day I was going to get a bracelet. Like, what would Nicole do? Like, wear it on my wrist. So when I'm with my kids, I'd like be more affectionate. But in the moment, I was like, Nicole would get down on her knees. And look her back. So I was like, yes, baby, I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm looking in your eyes. And she was like, why don't you buy us shirts with like unicorns and like normal things on it? And I was like, well, and I just launched into it. I was like, all of your clothes look amazing on you, and people compliment you all the time on how great you look. Do you ever feel like you don't look pretty or you don't feel confident? She was like, no, I don't feel that way. I said, well, we only have a limited number of options because we don't want to waste. We want to spend more time loving people and feeling good about what we wear so that we can run out of the house and not worry and not be stressed and not have to look for the matching unicorn leggings or the matching unicorn hoodie or whatever. She was like, okay. And I was like, but I'll be more conscientious of it. I'll try to think of something else I can do. So I bought them a pair of leggings that had like roses on them, but they're black. So
they still work in their color scheme.
Yeah. They still match everything in their wardrobe, but they were like, thank you for the rose leggings. Like just feeling like I had won the lottery. So it's just funny, but yeah, I don't think I care too much about it. I let God like kind of, like sort some of that out in my heart. But I do think I care just enough to not get carried away with like what the world thinks is success or cleanliness or style or any of those things. Because I can't afford to let them matter when other stuff needs to take up more space.
Yes, right. Yes, that's what that was like from the start when we started the podcast. We said we want to help people learn to love their home and then invite people in. Because if you can't find anything to love about your home, you're not going to invite people in. That's just the truth of it.
That's so true. That is so true.
Even if you don't change anything, but you find things that you can point out, like, I like this, and I like this, and I like this. If you can start thinking more positively about it, you're more likely to invite people into it.
Yeah, and one of the things you said about, like, getting rid of all the crap is that's one of the things we say all the time, too. Like, get rid of the stuff you don't like. Just get rid of it. You don't even have to better to have nothing than to have a bunch of stuff you don't like. I mean, you can't, like, get rid of your bed, but, like, get rid of all the stuff that you don't like.
The table lamp you hate.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with your wardrobe. It's like, get rid of all the stuff that you don't feel good in. Get rid of all your too small clothes. Get rid of anything that you wore when you were pregnant and now it's stretched out, And for our kids, if something gets a stain that I can't get out, it's gone.
Yeah, we get rid of it.
If it's got a hole in it, it's gone. We don't have anything taking up I'm not doing laundry on stuff that is
not going to be a slave to laundry.
Right. I'm not going to be a slave to laundry. I'm not going to be we have so few things that it's like, put on your jeans, your one pair. Put them on.
And don't put them in the dirty clothes unless they're visibly soiled.
Yeah. Two of my boys wear the same size pants, and we always let Judah wear them first because Titus always gets things visibly dirty. So Judah gets to wear them and we don't wash them, and then Titus wears them. Then they have to be washed.
Yeah.
Titus is always we only do laundry once a week. So we have 8 people in our family. And I would say the big boys do laundry every 2 weeks. They do their own laundry. My husband and I do a load together once a week. And then we do all 4 baby kids once a week. So it's like when people are like, how do you do it? I'm like, we just have less clothes. You wear everything. We have like 8 to 10 outfits. And then there's only 7 days in a week. So you have a backup in case you can't do laundry. And then you just do it again.
Yeah.
Well, and we have the wonderful addition of uniforms.
Yeah.
So that's so smart.
Yeah.
I wish our school would do them for sure.
Yes.
I mean, we're public school, but all the public schools in Mobile do uniforms.
Yeah.
So.
That's amazing.
And in the summer, our uniform is swimsuits.
Right.
So that's what you wear every day.
That's right.
So it really simplifies your life.
Yeah. Okay. So on that note, we're going to move on into Love It or Leave It.
Yes.
While we're still light.
You know.
I'm excited.
We can get real deep and in the trenches really fast.
Yes.
So we're not going to solve all the world's problems today, even though we would like to.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so the first one is Hallmark Christmas movies. Love it or leave it?
Leave it. I've never watched one in my entire life.
See, I haven't been a Hallmark girl either, but my girls have started getting into like real people shows, and they've picked out a couple of the Netflix ones, and I'm being converted.
Now maybe I will. I mean,
them.
I'm not against it. I've just never. I am that right now during the season. I'm very into popcorn at night. Like we have a stovetop popper that I found at Goodwill that has just like totally revolutionized our after kids go to bed routine. Yeah, we don't have a microwave. That's right. So it's just so fun to pop it, and maybe I'll start doing that, keeping it on the background. I don't know if I could pay attention for an hour and a half to a cheesy movie like that, but maybe having it on the background.
That's exactly how it's been for me. It's like if I'm doing work at the computer and then they're right behind me watching it, then I'm like listening, and I'm like, I don't know. I am a bit of a hopeless romantic, so yeah, I can get behind it.
I am the opposite. My husband is the hopeless romantic. He said, quote, "Something in you called out to me the first time I saw you. I'm going to make you my wife someday. Take as long as you need."
Oh, God.
And to him, I said, like, you're either a creep or it's legit.
Yeah.
It can only be one of two things. But, like, I don't feel that way. So we've been together almost 15 years, and we still argue all the time about whether or not soulmates exist.
Yeah.
That's so
funny. I would have totally been like, let's get married. For sure. We started dating in high school, so we had to wait a long time.
That's
so
amazing.
It worked out.
That's so funny.
Okay.
The next one, we have talked with our husbands about this because it's not their favorite. Caroling.
Oh, I like it because my husband's a musician.
So that makes you love him.
Yeah, it does. So here are my 2 favorite things to do. One, we've only done this one time when I was younger, but that was go to a nursing home and carol from room to room. That would be so fun. I did that when I was little. Mm-hmm. But what I heard recently, I have a weak spot for celebrity memoirs, and I listen to them on Audible when I'm driving for work. And recently, I think it was Reese Witherspoon, I listened to her book. Anything that's narrated by the author, I'm sold on.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how she has a caroling party where people come over and she serves them dinner. And then after dinner, one person plays the piano and everybody rotates singing different carols for like hours. That would be fun. Have a caroling party.
That is fun.
Yeah.
We caroled with our children. Not my husband. He didn't go. We had a tiny baby, though, that he stayed home with. But we caroled through our neighborhood last year, and it was so awkward but so great. Like, so many people just didn't open the doors, which was fine. But the ones who did, I think, were kind of into it, most of them.
Yeah. Our kids were really
Our
into
kids
it.
were so proud.
Well,
So
my
they
big kids
open
are
it and
not.
watch you? Like they stand in the doorway and watch you?
And we brought candy canes.
We brought treats.
Okay,
So-
that sounds very uncomfortable, but also stretching. I would like to be stretched more.
Yeah.
We wanted to meet some neighbors. We thought it was a good opportunity.
Yeah, we didn't get any names from that.
No.
Oh, that's funny. But they recognize you now.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
they recognize us
recognize
because we're the people waving.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but
Standing out by our mailboxes waiting for them to walk out and being like, hey.
yeah, but our kids love loved it. So we'll
They
probably
did.
do it again because even the ones who like don't like to perform really felt like they were a part of.
They really
bringing joy
like. It's
to the
kind of like
neighborhood.
trick or treating, but Christmas style.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
into it. I'm into it.
So okay, apple cider.
Oh, I'd say I love it. That we don't do. I sound like the worst mom ever. We don't have juice or any of those fun drinks in the house. They only drink water. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Christmas time, I bring that spiced apple cider home from Trader Joe's and I water it down.
Yeah.
And they love it. They can't even tell that I've watered it down, but they love it.
I feel like we live in parallel lives.
Yeah.
We only do
it's-
we always laugh.
Yeah.
Our kids get so excited when we have company because a lot of times that means we'll have sweet tea.
Yes. Yes.
Bailey's kids
yes.
are like crack whenever they have sweet tea. They like their eyes get crazy.
They do,
Yes.
but it's because they only get water and they
If
love
we,
it.
yeah,
We also have never ordered them a kids meal at a restaurant. We get an adult meal and cut it in half.
Yeah, we do that
But
too.
they haven't bought in, or they haven't like caught on to the fact that like they're losing because they're like we're ordering from the adult menu, so they're
Right.
actually like we're winning.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer to this one from when we talked a little bit before we started recording, but Elf on the Shelf.
Oh no
Yeah.
way!
We're
Nothing
leaving it
that makes
too.
me do work on a daily basis,
Exactly.
and nothing that like puts their yeah, it's just too much effort. And then we even talked about it. The kids asked me a few weeks ago, like, do we do Elf on the Shelf? I was like, do you see an elf in this house?
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we figured no. And they weren't even like offended by it. But I was like, listen, somebody's got to move it every night. And if somebody forgets to move it, the kids are mad. Then they're shaming their parents. And my kids were like, I know, right? It's like Santa. It's just too much.
Yeah.
They're finally on my side of some of
Right.
those. So it's interesting. But yeah, no Elf on the Shelf. Although I do think it's cute and I enjoy seeing the pictures of other people do really creative ideas.
Same.
It
Yeah,
is
not
really
like-
creative.
Yeah, we have a Christmas dove who like is supposed to
that's cool.
fly around the neighborhood, and she comes back with a little card that says like someone who you can help, like pray for your librarians and make them a card and bring it to them to tell them thank you.
That's
Or
cool.
but there's no thought in it for me because the cards are pre-made,
Right.
and I choose the ones that are easy.
Yeah.
And it's got a little
So
devotion book.
that's a
So
really cool idea. I need to like loosen up a little bit because I'm one of those gals that if I can't do it all, I feel like I'm not even going to try.
Same.
And so I don't do the Advent daily thing or the, but I have noticed I've gotten a lot more holiday spirit over the last few years where I just say the name of the holiday in front of whatever we're doing. So like we're going to take a Valentine's Day bath and the kids hop in the bath and I give them like a red lollipop or something. So even just like with my heart changing towards that, I
Yeah.
think the Advent celebration is probably in my near future for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should look up. We did an interview with Courtney DeFeo last year, who started this, but it's called Light 'Em Up, and
Mhm.
it's just like doing random acts of kindness with your kids. And she's got a ton of ideas, but like throughout the Christmas season.
That's
but
cool.
it's not a daily thing, so you can do it like as there's time or resources. So
Yeah.
I
That's
might like
cool.
that. All right, the last one. Love it or leave it. Do you enjoy wrapping Christmas gifts?
I do so much. I love it. I use one kind of wrapping paper. It's either brown paper packages every year or silver foil.
Mm-hmm.
And I have those Lindsay Letters. Y'all know Lindsay Letters, the
Mhm,
artist.
Mhm.
So she has this printables pack that I purchased a few years ago with the 12 Days of Christmas, and they also come with gift tags. And so I have them cut out with birth order. So for Lucas, my eldest, he gets the one tag, and I work my way all the way down to the sixth child, and it's just so fun. And I love the way they look, and I don't let anybody in the room with me because I'm an introvert, and it's just nice to have some silence and like seeing something from start to finish. Oh man, I just talked way too much about wrapping presents.
Yeah, I feel you.
I love it too.
Clean lines. It's easy. I don't have to think much about it. I can make it look
Yes.
pretty for a very minimal.
It's very
amount of money.
therapeutic in a
Yeah.
way.
Yes, and that's when you can wrap the cheesy stuff we talked about, like
Right.
you said, the socks or the glasses that you needed.
Yes.
Like even if it's not like a fun gift, they're still so excited to open it.
Yeah, I love that being able to make the gift itself a gift because it's like really pretty and there's thought
Mhm.
behind it. And when I use the brown paper, I write on the gift itself, like a
Mhm.
little note to the kids on each one.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's a whole thing for me as
Yeah.
well.
Our
It's like-
kids feel so special whenever it's like, we love the way that you tell jokes in the morning when
Yes.
everyone's grumpy, and they're like, ah!
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Little
really
things.
thoughtful. I love that.
It's an easy thing people can do for
It
free.
can also stretch out those few gifts that you're giving to your children on Christmas morning.
You're right.
So-
You're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
All right. Rachel, this was so much fun.
It's so fun.
It was so great to meet you, and we always get really excited when we feel like we found a kindred spirit.
Oh, thank you so
So-
much for having me. I want to hang out with you guys. I want to go down to Alabama like right
come
now.
anytime.
Anytime. Look, we're right here on the Gulf Coast, so if y'all want to come to the beach, let us know. We don't live on the
Love
beach,
it.
but we can
We
visit
can
with
get
you
you
when you
there.
get there. Yeah.
You can get me there. I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, it's
Thank
so
you.
great to meet you, Rachel. Thanks. Bye.
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 Hey guys, just one quick little detail that we told Rachel we would correct for her. She has since posted on Instagram that she has found her love for Hallmark movies. She watched the first one and then recorded 3 more immediately.
We are glad that we can make her a believer.
Look, we're just trying to spread Christmas cheer wherever we can.
Merry Christmas, you guys. We can't wait to see you next week.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for taking a peek in our nest.
We hope you come back next week. As always, the door will be open.